Hi, everyone. Welcome to Administration of Criminal Justice. My name is Mrs. Wicca. Most of you I have probably taught before at some point. If not, welcome. And I look forward to working with you this semester. Just wanted to make a little overview video to tell you how the class is going to operate and how it's going to run, and just a quick overview of some of the things that we're going to be talking about in class. But I will be making lecture videos throughout the semester, so you will be able to listen to my lectures and follow along with the PowerPoints for the course material. And we'll talk about that as we go along. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the overview of the class and what we're going to be learning this year or this semester. Okay, so for most of you, this is probably the last class that you're taking. If you have only taken one introduction course, I would probably recommend that you switch to another criminal justice course. This is really meant to be the capstone course for the whole criminal justice program. So you really take this class after you have taken at least several criminal justice courses, because it's going to put everything that you've learned together into one course. So remember, in intro, we started with an overview of the system, then we said police, courts, and corrections. That's what we're going to be doing in this course, but we're going to be looking at it from an administrative perspective, and you'll see as we go through. Now, this is your book, Justice Administration. This is actually the newer version of it, so make sure you have a copy of the book. It's not online. There's no mind tap, so you have to have the book. We will be doing exams and material right out of the book. And since it's an online class, you really need to have the book so you can review the material and understand what it says. Okay. Now, just some quick expectations for the class. Since this is an online class, you really need to be prepared every single week. You need to look through the material and understand the material. You need to really watch the lecture videos and follow the PowerPoints. You have to have the maturity and academic knowledge to continue on with the course, which I'm sure you all have. Common courtesy to each other in discussions and things like that, and classroom participation. Make sure you're participating in those class discussions. Just because it's an online class doesn't mean that you don't have to participate in the class. Hopefully everybody gets to know each other and everybody will participate with each other. Now, what generally are you going to be doing every week? Well, basically every week we'll cover a chapter, and in that chapter there'll be a lecture video and the PowerPoint that you can go over. And then for every chapter, you'll have an assignment and a discussion. So those will be the two main things you do every week: one assignment, one discussion. And it's always tied into the lecture. So if you watch the lecture videos and follow along with the PowerPoints, you'll know what you need to know for the chapter assignment and discussions. The other big thing we're going to be working on is a research project, which I'm going to talk about in a little more detail. So you probably have something to work on towards that research project every week. So those will be your three main things: assignment and discussion. Keep working on your research project. There will be exams spaced out within that, but those are the three main things every week. You can just get in your head that every week you have to do those three things. Everything you need is on my GCC. It's an all online class. So the syllabus is on there. Hopefully you can review the syllabus and take the syllabus quiz. I'll post announcements once in a while to make sure you're staying up with what you need to do. You'll email me through the class if you need anything. The assignments and the research project are all posted online. Your exams are all online. I also post things that are called practice assessments. Practice assessments are just ways to review the material from the chapter. They're not required, and you can take them over as many times as you want to review before you take the exam. Discussions are online, and then sometimes I post some additional materials and applicable websites and things that will be helpful to you throughout the class. Now, so what is ultimately going to happen in this class? Two things. So the first thing is the book material. So we're going to cover the material in the book. And what we're going to be doing is learning about the criminal justice system from an administrator perspective. So in intro, you learned about police, courts, and corrections, just an overview and how it's structured and some terminology and basic concepts. Now we're going to go back and we're going to revisit those three parts of the system: police, courts, and corrections, but we're going to look at it from the boss's perspective. How would the boss perceive this? How would the boss handle these situations? So chief of police, the sheriff, the judge in the courtroom, judge administrators, the superintendent or warden of the prison. What issues do they have to deal with in police courts and corrections, and how do they deal with the administration of criminal justice? So that will be the about half of the class. And then the other half of the class will be completing what we call a contemporary research project. Okay, so I'll talk about that a little bit more. So your contemporary research project is going to be a project that you choose. You can choose any issue within criminal justice, and you're going to research the topic, and you're going to make some policies from an administrative perspective on how to deal with that problem. Okay, so if you think about learning along Bloom's taxonomy, a lot of your intro courses are just remembering, understanding, so just basic concepts, memorization, terminology. And then you got into some of your middle criminal justice courses where you were applying and analyzing. So criminal law, you were applying the law and you were analyzing how the Supreme Court decisions affect the choices that police have to make in criminal procedure law. Now we're going to be at the top. We are going to create and evaluate. So you are the administrators, you're the boss. So you have to come up with and review different policies that you could make, and you're going to evaluate your choices, and you're going to create your own policies. This is the highest level of thinking, and this is what we're going to be doing in this class. That's why it's one of the last classes that you should be taking in your criminal justice career. Now, what does that mean? It means you're going to be doing multiple steps. First, you're going to identify a problem, pick a problem. You're going to research it. You're going to consider who are the stakeholders, who does this problem affect? What are some possible solutions to these problems? After you review the solutions, you're going to choose one of those solutions. You're going to gather data on that solution. You're going to analyze that data, and then you're going to draw some conclusions and assess your work. So that's ultimately what we're going to be doing throughout the entire semester. Now, the great part of it is I broke it down into lots and lots of pieces. So I'm not going to just throw the project at you and say, do it all. Every week, we're going to break down a piece, and you're going to have to do it step by step. And you'll have times to do it. The reason why we do this is if you're going on to a four-year school, or even if you are just going out into the work field, you can see that a decision process is a multiple step process, and you have to go through this systematic process in making decisions. So you're just learning this. This is a new concept. So we're going to break it down into all those pieces and go through it step by step. So if you ever have to conquer a bigger project like this, you will always know how to break it into little pieces. Now, the key to it is always going to be you cannot fall behind. This is one of those classes that you cannot say, oh, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. It all builds on itself. You have to make a conscious effort right now that every week you're going to stay on your project and do exactly what's required. It is impossible to catch up on this project at the end. It's just too much stuff. So you need to make sure that this material gets done along the way. So I'll probably be sending you emails and nagging you if you're behind, because you will probably not pass the class if you start to fall behind on this project. And it's worth about a third of your grade. So you cannot pass the class if you don't do this research project. So this week, all you're going to do is review the requirements for the whole project. But the biggest thing you're really going to do is you're going to choose your topic. So we will talk about that in the overview letter for this week. And you'll have it in there. I'll even have a little video explaining how to choose your topic that you will review. And you're going to decide what you want your topic for the research project to be. Okay? So that's all you have to do this week is just choose your topic. Now, one of the big things with this is it's a research paper, so you have to be very concerned about plagiarism. Remember, plagiarism is taking somebody else's ideas and using them for your own. You cannot plagiarize this paper. You will get a 0 and you will fail the class, okay? So taking other people's ideas and not giving them credit, that is plagiarism. So what kind of things does this include? If your whole paper is just quote after quote after quote after quote, that's plagiarism. You're using somebody else's paper. So you can have direct quotes, but they should be used sparingly. You need to put the research into your own words. So if you just, just rewriting what was said, that's plagiarism. You need to read it, think about it, and restate it in your own words. You need to use internal citations throughout your paper. If you turn a paper into me and it does not have internal citations, at this point in your academic career, I'm giving you 0 and returning it to you. I will not grade any papers that do not have internal citations. And then you have to have a reference page at the end. All of this is done in APA. So you need to take this seriously, or otherwise it's plagiarism. And there's serious consequences through that. I'm going to be running it through a plagiarism check. It tells me where you got your information. It actually highlights your paper and then tells me where you cut and pasted that from. And if you are plagiarizing, I'm giving you a 0. Okay, you'll receive a 0 on that part of the assignment. And you'll have to attend a plagiarism course. I'm going to make you attend a course, an online course through the library on plagiarism if I'm catching you with plagiarism. I also have reserved the right to refer you to the Dean of Students to be put on a list for somebody that plagiarizes, and then they'll start checking your other classes and seeing if you have problems with other classes. So please take this serious. You cannot plagiarize. You've been in college long enough. You should know what plagiarism is, and there should be no plagiarism whatsoever. I take this very seriously. Okay, so that's an overview of the class. There's just 3 things you're going to do to get this class going. You need to review my syllabus and take the syllabus quiz. You need to introduce yourself to the class because you're going to be working together in the class, and you need to choose a topic. Okay, so those will be your first things. So welcome to the class again. It's actually a really fun class. I know it may seem a little overwhelming right now, but I promise, we break it down into small enough pieces. At the end, you'll be able to manage everything. And the one thing about this class is my students are tremendously proud of themselves at the end of what they accomplished in this class. And I'm sure you'll feel the same, okay? So welcome. If you have any questions, please reach out. I gave you my cell phone number on my syllabus. If you need anything, you can text me or you can email me, or we can Zoom meetings or conferences, but don't wait. Just reach out if you have any questions. Don't let the fear of not knowing what you're doing keep you from doing anything. If you're confused at all, reach out. I'm here. I'll work through it with you. Okay? So that's all I have for the intro. Welcome to the class, and I look forward to working with you this semester. See you soon.